Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. It is the 1st of June when I'm filming this, so that means it is Pride Month. So that means I have 10 LGBTQ+ books that I'm going to be recommending today. These are some of my favorite books, so I hope you find some new books to read this month. So, going straight in. The first book that I'm going to be talking about today is Ace of Spades. This is such a great book. It's a thriller and it is quite thrilling. I was shocked with so many things in this book. Make sure you look up trigger warnings. Pretty sure it does have on the first page some things. Yeah, there's a little trigger warning section down there. There's racism, homophobia and bullying, so just beware beforehand. Heavy racism. Like, let me just say, just beware. This book was kind of giving like Gossip Girl meets Pretty Little Liars, but it had great mystery aspects and our main characters are bi and gay. So there's that extra fun bit there. There's so much drama, so much happens. I would highly recommend. The next book I have is actually a graphic novel series, and this is one that everyone should have read, but just in case you haven't, here it is once again, Heartstopper. I have mentioned this quite a few times on my channel before, but currently it is 4 books. I believe the 5th one is coming out this year though. Amazing graphic novel series, and it follows our main characters Nick and Charlie, who are bi and gay, but just an amazing book series. So cute, so awkward, and the show as well, there's a Netflix adaptation, nailed the awkwardness. Like, I've heard some people say that, oh, the acting's really bad, and I was like, no, they perfectly captured the vibes. Like, love the show as well, so good. The 2nd season of the show is coming out, I believe, in August. So make sure you read the graphic novels before you watch the show. They're going to be in Paris. I'm so excited, kind of scared. But this is so good. If you have not read it yet, you need to. The art style is also really great. Just love the vibes. Love it. Great books. Cannot wait to read the new one that's coming out. Next, I have I Kiss Shara Wheeler, which is an amazing book once again. It is giving really much like Paper Towns vibes. It is a YA and it reads like a YA, but it's so good. So what happens is Shara Wheeler, she kisses 3 people and then just disappears. She vanishes, and they all get these letters and there's clues of how they can find her. So it's like a scavenger hunt. It's also in like the end of high school, senior year, and Chloe, our main character, she's like freaking out because Shara is her like academic rival, and they are both going like for valedictorian, and she's like, I can't believe Shara is leaving right now because I won't be able to win valedictorian fairly. She's basically giving it up. So she's trying to find Shara to bring her back to school, basically. But along the way, lots of stuff happens. The 2 other people that she kissed are Rory and Smith. Smith is her boyfriend, so he's like also so confused at why this has happened and why she's run away because he doesn't know a single thing. So the 3 of them kind of team up together and they try and find her. Scavenger hunt, amazing. Loved the vibes. And there is also a huge cast of characters as well, being with like all the friends. We've got gay characters, we've got bi characters, we've got lesbians, we've got non-binary. But I love this book so much. It was such a fun, quick read. Love the cover as well, love the spine. It's got some kisses on there too. How cute. I literally could not be happier with this book. This and Heartstopper were actually in my 5-star reads video. So obviously I was going to mention this. Absolutely loved it. The next book I have to recommend, if you haven't read it already, which you should have, is by the exact same author as this, Casey McQuiston, and they also wrote Red, White and Royal Blue. If you haven't read this, what have you been doing with your life? Like, everyone's read this. Surely you have. If you haven't, get on it. The movie's coming out super soon on Amazon Prime, so I would recommend reading it before you get to the movie. But this is so good. It's about the son of the American president and the Prince of England. They're kind of rivals, but they are forced to be friends for like media because they were fighting a lot, and then they fall in love. It's so cute. I love this book so much. Cannot wait to watch the movie. I would definitely recommend. Love the cover once again. Love the title as well. It so makes sense. Like, What an amazing title for the book. So even though a lot of you have probably already read this, just thought I'd put it in the video just in case you haven't, because if you haven't, you should. You definitely should. But the next book I'm recommending is Read Between the Lines. I loved this book. It was so good. It's set in New York City. It's kind of like a rivals to lovers, but they also didn't know who each other were. But it worked out in like a funny way how in real life they knew who each other were and they were rivals, but then they would like talk online and they were like friends-ish, and it was just so good. So what happened, I don't know if this is spoiling because it's like basically the premise of the story. So our main character Rosie, she runs a bookshop which was owned by her mother who died. And this bookshop is like everything to her, but the building is being possessed and it's going to be knocked down. And the people that are doing it is none other than Jane. So both of them are like kind of not liking each other because obviously Jane's just doing her job, but Rosie wants to keep the bookshop. But then Jane, in her spare time, is a romance writer, and Rosie has all her books, loves all her books, and sells them at the shop. And it's just like, I love reading books about people that like books, and I love reading books about authors. This has got both of them, and it's set in New York City, and it's like kind of rivals to lovers. It's like everything you would want in a book, and there it is. It was just so good. Loved the vibes. I love like the talk of running the bookshop. How fun. Like, I want to work at a bookshop. I do. How fun would that be, honestly? Making up the displays. Oh, just sounds so fun. But anyway, this was an amazing book. Would totally recommend. There's also a companion novel as well, which is based off one of Rosie's friends. I did read that as well. I didn't like it as much as this one, so I would just recommend this one. If you did like it, you can read the other one, but I did prefer this one. But next is a book that I actually mentioned recently in my May reading wrap up, which was last week's video, and that is Bitter Thorn. This is so good. Amazing, like cozy-ish fantasy vibes. There's like a mystery aspect, amazing magic system. I really enjoyed this. It was so good. I don't even know what to say. I haven't really heard anyone talk about this like at all, and they should. And you should read it if you haven't read it yet. So good. Love the vibes. Amazing writing. And gay witches. Like, come on. Come on. There you go. There you go. Like, there you go. Bitter Thorn. But speaking of gay witches, if you haven't already, I would totally recommend you read These Witches Don't Burn. What an amazing book. I love a witchy book in general, but this one was just so good. This is a series and I haven't continued the series yet. I borrowed the first one at the library. I believe there is one more in this series which I haven't read yet. I don't know if it's a duology or if there is going to be a third one, but I can't wait to continue this series. It's so good. There's witches. I believe there's also witch hunters. I don't fully remember, but I remember really enjoying it. I did read this last year, so it's not super fresh in my mind, but I do know it was amazing, and it's a witchy book and it's gay. So interesting, so fun, loved it. The next book I have is another fantasy, and it is Girl Serpent Thorn, which is about Soraya, who is poisonous to the touch, kind of giving Juliet vibes from Shadow Me, but she's been locked away. She's a princess, but she doesn't really communicate with many people because she kills them. This is great. I believe she is bi, but then she teams up with like a demon of sorts. Yeah, who is like half moth or something. And she helps Soraya through this whole ordeal. There is murders, all kinds of things. Honestly, kind of spooky, but it's so great. I literally loved it. It's based on Persian mythology. They do have a section at the back in the author's note, which is like a little background of the story, like where the mythology came from and everything, which is so interesting to read about at the end. I loved this book. Would recommend if you haven't read it already. Love the cover as well. And then I have another book that I read earlier on this year, which is Cry's War, which is about Cryer, who is a robot, and a royal robot at that. But in this world, all the robots are like the elite of the society, and they have humans as like servants and slaves and whatnot. But this book is also kind of like an enemies to lovers. So Ayla, one of our main characters, she is trying to kill Cryer, because she holds the robots responsible for the death of her family. So she's there to kill her, and she becomes Cry's maid, so they're like together all the time, and then we have like a little enemies to lovers. It's so good. Would recommend. It's a duology, and the second one is called Ironheart, which was great. I liked that better than the first one, but obviously I couldn't just recommend the second one, so you do have to read this one first, obviously. And I have one more book to recommend, and it wouldn't be a recommendation video if I didn't recommend my favourite book of all time, which is Six of Crows. I will bring up this book any chance I get, so here it is. Read it if you have not already. I love this. I love it so much that you have to read it right now, but this has such a diverse cast of characters in general in terms of sexuality, ethnicity, and disability rep. It's got it all going on, and I love that for her. But like, if you haven't read it, like seriously, what are you doing? Get on it. Amazing fantasy, a heist. Like honestly, I can't even. But in terms of LGBT characters, we have 2 bi characters and 1 gay character. This is a duology, although I have heard rumours that Lee is writing the 3rd one, and I'm kind of scared if she kills another crow. I think I'll cry. Obviously, I'll cry again. It already happened. The crying happened, but the crying will happen again if that happens. You know what I mean? But I will read the back. If you know absolutely nothing about this book or the Grishaverse in general, I'm shocked and surprised, but I'm also so excited for you to learn about this amazing new world. I will read you a bit of the back. A convict with a thirst for revenge, a sharpshooter who can't walk away from a wager, a runaway with a privileged past, a spy known as the Wraith, a heartrender using her magic to survive the slums, and a thief with a gift for unlikely escapes. I wish I could read this again for the first time. Honestly, I love it so much. If you have not read it already, now's your chance. Like honestly, read it now. Right this minute. Go buy it. Go read it. Go borrow it. Go read it. If it's on your shelf, pick it up and read it. Honestly. So those are the 10 books that I'm recommending today. I hope you found some new books that you can read this month, and I hope you enjoyed them all as much as I did. But if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below, and I will see you next week with a new video. Goodbye!